Good evening, and welcome to the Crypto Overnighter. I'm Nikodemus, and I will be your host as we take a look at the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. So sit back, relax, and let's get started. And remember, none of this is financial advice. And it's 10 p.m. on Thursday, June 22nd, 2023. And welcome back to the Crypto Overnighter, where we have no sponsors, no hidden agendas, and no BS. But we do have the news, so let's get to that. But I have a question for you before we get started. Do you listen to the Crypto Overnighter or do you watch it? Podcast versus YouTube. Listen versus watch. Reach out and let me know. Comment on the video. Come find me on Twitter. There's a link for that in my show notes. My email address is nick@cryptoovernighter.com. Listen versus watch. Podcast versus YouTube. You tell me. Now, on with the news. Because our first story takes us to the United Kingdom, where the government's plans for a digital pound are generating a lot of buzz. Now, many in the crypto industry are excited about this development, but there's also some suggestions on how to make the digital pound more suitable for the future. One key aspect is interoperability with other digital currencies. Let's find out more. The UK government shared its plans for a digital pound in February. They suggested a platform model. In this model, the Bank of England would create the infrastructure for a digital pound. Then private companies could integrate with it and provide wallets. These wallets would connect to other services. A digital pound could bring many opportunities. It could improve payment systems and provide an alternative to other forms of payment. It could also encourage more innovation in the sector. At least that's the view of one Lisa Cameron. She's the chair of the Crypto and Digital Assets All-Party Parliamentary Group. The government is now receiving responses to its plans. The deadline for these responses is June 30th. Stakeholders in the crypto industry have some concerns. They're worried about how the digital pound will protect users' privacy. They're also worried about whether the digital pound will be designed in a way that encourages innovation. Some people think the Bank of England's proposed limits on how much digital pound a person can hold are too high. The Bank of England has suggested a limit of 10 to 20,000 pounds per person, digitally. This would be the limit for at least an initial period for the digital pound. The International Regulatory Strategy Group thinks the limit should be lower. They're worried that if people hold too much digital fiat, it could lead to problems with bank deposits. The Bank of England's plans for the digital pound could allow for programmability. This means that the digital pound could be used with smart contracts. That is, if the government allows it. Smart contracts would not be hosted on the digital pound's core ledger. Instead, they could be accessed through an Application Program Interface Layer, or API. This would allow companies to connect with the digital pound. The digital pound system might also allow for offline payments, but this could lead to complexities that affect system security and performance. Some people think the ability to make offline payments should be a high priority. This would ensure that users can always access their funds. Some people think that the digital pound would be even more innovative if it could work with other cryptocurrencies. Varen Paul is the director for CDBC at institutional crypto custody platform Fireblocks. And Paul is one of those people. He thinks the digital pound needs to be able to work with the digital assets of the future. He also thinks it needs to be easy to use. The government is not expected to decide on issuing a digital pound until at least 2025. If the government decides to go ahead with the plan, it will be important for the public and consumers to understand and trust the digital pound. That's going to be key to its success. Now, CDBCs are kind of the evil twin of stablecoins. So with that in mind, let's move across the pond. The U.S. House Financial Services Committee is preparing to vote on legislation that could have a significant impact on the crypto sector. The proposed laws aim to provide a clear pathway for digital assets and include a comprehensive framework for stablecoins. However, there are differing views on the role of the central bank in stablecoin regulation. Let's explore. In a world of digital assets and cryptocurrencies, the U.S. House Financial Services Committee is gearing up to vote on legislation that could significantly impact the sector. The proposed laws, set to be debated in the second week of July, aim to provide a clear pathway for digital assets to transition from being classified as securities to commodities. This shift would result in lower reporting and regulatory requirements for these assets. The legislation was drafted by Patrick McHenry and Glenn Thompson. Now, McHenry is the House Financial Services Committee chair, and Thompson is the House Ag Committee chair. It includes a comprehensive framework for stablecoins. And I tell you, it's not common for two heads of two different committees to be sponsoring a single bill. This usually only happens for marquee legislation, like the American Healthcare Act of 2017, for example. Stablecoins are a type of cryptocurrency designed to maintain a stable value relative to a specific asset or pool of assets, most often fiat currencies. But there are alternatives. And the stables are at the center of these discussions. The committee plans to debate a separate bill, primarily written by McHenry and Representative French Hill. This would establish a comprehensive regulatory framework for stablecoins. The July session would allow committee members to introduce changes to the text, with the final version subject to a vote. If the bills advance from the committee, they will be up for votes in the full House of Representatives. However, the path to regulation is not without its hurdles. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell has voiced his opinion that the central bank should play a role in approving stablecoin issuance. Powell views payment stablecoins as money and believes that a robust federal role in their regulation is necessary. He expressed skepticism towards state approval and preemption for stablecoin issuers, which is currently part of the Republican-led proposal. The top Democrat on the House Financial Services Committee is Representative Maxine Waters. She also expressed concerns about the proposal. She criticized the idea of allowing state regulators to approve stablecoin issuance, arguing that it could take state preemption to a whole new level. Now, it is likely that Republicans can advance the bill out of committee, and on a party line vote, they could advance it out of the House of Representatives. Even so, it still needs support from Democrats to become law. This is because Democrats hold the majority in the Senate, and President Joe Biden is unlikely to sign legislation that his own party does not endorse. The proposed stablecoin framework has garnered support from U.S. stablecoin issuer Circle, among others. Fintech companies, especially payments providers, have long complained about their lack of access to a single registration to do business across the U.S. Instead, they end up needing to register state by state as money service providers. This bill aims to provide a simpler path for stablecoin providers, subjecting them to disclosures and regulatory oversight. In addition to his comments on stablecoins, Powell also addressed the idea of a digital dollar. He dismissed the suggestion that the Fed might issue a digital dollar directly to Americans or that a digital dollar was coming anytime soon. Now, some people watching the impending FedNow system would possibly disagree. He emphasized that if a digital dollar does happen, it would be issued in a way to maintain financial privacy and not to displace the existing financial system. Powell stated that the central bank is a long way from deciding whether to issue a central bank digital currency, but reiterated that any potential CBDC would be intermediated through the banking system and not directly at the Fed, due in part to those privacy concerns. Our next story takes us to Brazil, where the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange, Binance, is facing increased scrutiny from regulators. We've talked about their regulatory issues in Europe for the last couple of nights. It seems to be the continuing trend. A member of the Brazilian Chamber of Deputies has called for Binance's director to testify before Parliament as part of an investigation into an alleged pyramid scheme. Let's dive into the details. Binance faces increased scrutiny from regulators around the globe. One of the latest developments in this ongoing saga is coming from Brazil. Deputy Alfredo Gaspar of the Brazilian Chamber of Deputies has called for the director of Binance Brazil to testify before the Brazilian Parliament. His name is Guilherme Haddad. This request is part of a larger Parliamentary Commission of Inquiry, or CPI, investigation into alleged pyramid schemes in the country. The request for Haddad's testimony was made on June 21st and will be voted upon by members of the CPI on June 27th. If this vote passes, Haddad will be required to appear before the Brazilian Chamber of Deputies. This move is part of a broader regulatory crackdown on Binance, which is currently under investigation in several countries, including the United States, France, the Netherlands, the United Kingdom, and Brazil. The international focus on the company highlights the growing attention on the crypto exchange. Deputy Gaspar claimed Binance has been used by pyramid schemes in Brazil to facilitate asset transfers. He stressed the importance of understanding Binance's operations, its relationship with B Fintech, and its involvement with companies that are currently facing legal action for harming Brazilian consumers. This connection to Binance is a significant part of the ongoing investigation. Authorities in Brazil said the reason for the summons is due to the company's ongoing scrutiny from regulators worldwide. In Brazil, Binance is also under investigation by the Federal Prosecutor's Office. The exchange is alleged to have been assisting clients in evading a stop order on derivatives investments. The Securities Exchange Commission of Brazil has already been pressuring Binance to cease offering Bitcoin futures products to Brazilian customers. The situation is part of a larger narrative of regulatory pressure on Binance, as authorities in both the United States and China are also trying to apply pressure on them as well. The outcome of these investigations and the potential testimony of Haddad will undoubtedly have significant implications for Binance and the broader crypto market. Now let's take a look at Ripple, because Ripple has received in-principle approval for a major payments institution license in Singapore. This approval is a significant milestone for Ripple's Singapore branch and paves the way for regulated digital payment token products and services. Let's take a closer look. Ripple recently took a significant stride in its operations. The company received in-principle approval for a major payments institution license from the Monetary Authority of Singapore. The license will also facilitate the expansion of Ripple's on-demand liquidity platform, or ODL. ODL has seen a five-fold growth in Singapore over the last year. The ODL platform is a crypto-enabled service that allows financial institutions to send money across borders instantly using XRP as the bridge. Ripple's chief legal officer is Stu Aldauri. He expressed his satisfaction with Singapore's progressive approach to regulating digital assets. He praised the country's licensing framework, which he believes strikes a balance between protecting consumer interests, maintaining market integrity, and fostering innovation and investment. The approval of the license has also led to a significant increase in Ripple's presence in Singapore. The company's Singapore office has seen a 50% year-on-year increase in headcount, with 50 full-time staff hired across various key functions such as business development, compliance, finance, legal, and sales. Aldauri attributed this growth to Ripple's ability to tap into Singapore's burgeoning licensed digital assets market. He noted that the license puts Ripple in the company of other major players like Coinbase and Circle, which also have real businesses and products and are capable of adhering to the rules once they are clearly defined. To date, the authority has approved 190 major payment institution licenses and 11 digital payment token service licenses. Since January 2020, the MAS has received over 680 applications for payment service licenses. However, not all applications have been successful. 17 have been rejected and 214 withdrawn. Ripple's CEO is Brad Garlinghouse. He also commented on the development. He highlighted Singapore's global leadership in establishing clear regulations for digital assets. He noted the benefits of such regulations to the global financial system. However, Ripple's journey to final approval is not yet complete. The company still needs to take a few more steps to finalize the application. Despite this, Ripple's progress in Singapore stands in direct contrast to its experience in other countries. He pointed out that the majority of Ripple's business is conducted outside of the US, in key hubs that offer regulatory clarity. He expressed concern that the US is losing out due to its lack of a forward-looking regulatory approach. Ripple's in-principle approval for a major payments institution license in Singapore marks a significant milestone for the company. It not only allows Ripple to expand its services, but also reinforces Singapore's position as a global leader in digital asset regulation. Our final story takes us to France. CACEIS, the asset servicing branch of Crédit Agricole in Santander, has been authorized to provide crypto custody services. This registration places them among other traditional finance firms recognized under France's advanced crypto regulatory framework. Let's look at the implications of this development. CACEIS is the asset servicing branch of banking giants Crédit Agricole and Santander. They have recently been authorized by French regulators to provide crypto custody services. This registration was officially granted by France's Financial Markets Authority, AMF, on Tuesday. This move places the company among other traditional finance firms such as Société Générale's Forge and AXA Development Managers, which have also been recognized under France's advanced crypto regulatory framework. This development comes as the European Union is preparing to implement new crypto licensing rules known as MiCA in 2024. These rules are part of an effort to regulate the rapidly growing cryptocurrency market and to ensure the safety and security of investors and users. CACEIS holds 4.6 trillion euros of assets under custody. Reportedly, they have been attempting this crypto regulatory status since 2021. The bank provides services to asset managers such as insurers, pension funds, and private equity. It is 69.5% owned by Crédit Agricole and 30.5% owned by Banco Santander. In France, registration with the AMF is mandatory for those providing crypto custody, exchange, or trading services. This requirement is part of the country's effort to regulate the cryptocurrency market and to protect investors from potential fraud and other risks. We were just talking about Binance. They are currently under investigation by French authorities for allegedly providing services before they received approval in 2022. This decision to seek crypto custody registration is part of a broader trend of traditional finance companies showing interest in the crypto space. For instance, Deutsche Bank recently revealed that it's seeking a crypto custody license in Germany. Similarly, BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager, filed last week to operate an exchange-traded fund linked to the price of Bitcoin. Despite the growing interest in crypto, the European Central Bank has advised banks to maintain high levels of capital for holdings it considers risky. A survey published by the regulator in February stated that crypto activities and exposures were insignificant. This move is a significant step in the integration of traditional finance and cryptocurrency. It represents a growing acceptance of cryptocurrency within the mainstream financial sector. I expect to see similar developments in the near future. Tonight, we delved into a range of captivating stories that shed light on the ever-evolving world of cryptocurrencies. From the UK to the US, Brazil to Singapore, and then off to France, we explored the latest developments and challenges faced by the key players in the industry. Our journey began in the United Kingdom, where the government's plans for a digital pound garnered much excitement. However, stakeholders in the crypto industry raised concerns and offered suggestions to make the digital pound more suitable for the future. The need for interoperability with other cryptocurrencies emerged as a key aspect that could unlock new opportunities and foster innovation in the sector. Shifting our focus to the United States, we examined the proposed legislation that could impact the classification and regulation of digital assets. This debate around stablecoins took center stage, offering differing views on the role of the central bank in their regulation. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell emphasized the need for a robust federal role. Others expressed concern and highlighted the importance of bipartisan support for any potential legislation to become law. Our attention then turned to Brazil, where Binance is coming under increased scrutiny from regulators. A Brazilian Chamber of Deputies minister called for Binance's director to testify before the parliament as part of an investigation into an alleged pyramid scheme. This development highlights the growing international focus on the exchange and its potential implications for the broader cryptocurrency market. Ripple made significant progress in Singapore, receiving in-principle approval for a major payments institution license. This milestone enables Ripple's Singapore branch to offer regulated digital payment token services and products. The expansion of Ripple's on-demand liquidity platform and the company's growth in Singapore reflect the country's progressive approach to regulating digital assets, striking a balance between consumer protection, market integrity, and innovation. Finally, we explored France, where CACEIS, the asset servicing branch of Crédit Agricole and Santander, obtained authorization to provide crypto custody services. This registration places the bank among other traditional finance firms recognized under France's advanced crypto regulatory framework. This development exemplifies the increasing integration of traditional finance and cryptocurrency and sets the stage for future advancements as Europe prepares to implement new licensing rules in the future. As we wrap up, it's clear that governments and regulators are grappling with the need to strike a balance between fostering innovation and ensuring consumer protection. Industry players are pushing for interoperability, regulatory clarity, and global acceptance to unleash the full potential of digital assets. And that's going to do it for us tonight. I want to thank you, my listeners, because when you stop listening, I will stop talking. If you enjoyed tonight's show, then please like, subscribe, leave a rating, or maybe a review. And in the meantime, we'll see you tomorrow night.